Conquering Mount Scrapmore with Brenda. I'm Brenda, and we're here today with another episode of Happy Scrappy Overflow, and we're on block 4. Woohoo! Yes, block 4 is the sashing that's in between. Now you're going to find the PDF in the show notes or the description box below, and you have to measure from the outside edge 18.5 inches, right? So it has to be 18. You have to tape them together, so there's 2 pieces here, so hopefully that won't mess you up, but this is what you gotta do to make it happen. But first, let's do our shout outs and everything. Ulta Quilts and Eve's Creative Laboratories. Now both those YouTubers are having so much fun on their channel. You gotta go check them out. And their links for their channels are going to be in the show notes below or the description box. So go check them out, and when you like what you see and you hit their subscribe button, tell them that Brenda from Conquering Mount Scrapmore sent you. It's kind of a surprise for both of them, and they don't know it's coming, so this is all good. Now, we also have in the show notes below the Zoom sew date, so the first Saturday of the month from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, because I'm in Alberta, Canada. Making comments, thumbs up, share, like, subscribe, hype is what you do in your cell phone, and hit the bell so you don't miss content, because we put 3 videos out a week, and we have all sorts of fun, and we give away all sorts of free patterns. And if you do any of all of those things, what happens is that we push our videos forward, and we give more quilters some more free patterns. We also have a Facebook group. It's warm and inviting, and we have all sorts of fun in there. We do virtual sewing room hosted by Discord, fun community chats, fabric exchanges by countries to keep the postal costs down, and just the admins say, please answer the questions and agree to the rules. Otherwise, they have to chat to you, and it's not a simple thing for them to go through and do that. It's just much quicker if you answer the questions and agree to the rules. So, also, I speak for free to quilting guilds and quilting groups, and if you want to get a hold of me to be your speaker, I'd be happy to do so and make my best accommodation. This is my way of giving back to the quilting community. You can reach me under my About tab, which has my email address, or you can message me directly through the Facebook group. I'd be happy to talk to your guild or group. It's so much fun. Also, shout outs. If you guys see out there somebody somewhere in the the YouTube community that's working hard, putting out a quilting channel, and it's just having so much fun and very creative and all the rest of the stuff, send them my way. I'd be happy to give them a shout out. Just don't tell them that you're going to do that. We want to do a surprise shout out for them. So again, the email address is under the About tab, or you can message me through Facebook and give me their name and their link if you can, because that way it's easier for me to find. Also, we have 2 collaborations coming. Spring, summer, and fall. We did the Quilters Challenge, Quilter Circle Challenge, and that's with Future Cat from New Zealand, Kelly from Kelly's Quilts Plus, Kelly from Silly Moon Quilting, Sam Alberts, Deb from Sewing with Debbie, Michelle from Bits and Pieces, and myself, and we're just having a blast. What we do is we put out a theme, and now what does that theme mean to you? We're challenging each other, but we're also challenging each other's viewers. So we're having a lot of fun with this, and you would not believe some of the gorgeous stuff that's come out of that. It's just beautiful. Now, the other collaboration I'm with, it's with Handmade by Ying with Donna. Now, she's assembled a team of YouTubers that are going to go off and do scheduled things for Back to Basics, and it's geared to beginners. But if you've been around for a while and you're picking up bad habits, this is probably a good video series for you to watch, because it talks about all sorts of lessons. So, I'm sorry, I've just got a cough. We're filming this in April, and the snow mold here in Canada is just horrible. So, anyways, I think that's it. Yes, I think we've covered everything. So, come on in, grab your PDF, get it taped together for 18.5 inches from the outer line to outer line, and we'll get to the sewing. Okay, we're at the sewing machine now. I got 2 here. They are actually easier to work if you do 2 at a time. I've already marked my lines, with my marking tool, my little spinner marking tool, my seam tracing wheel, and I've cut them out with paper scissors. Yes, you're going to need one of those. Now, a rotary cutter, a quarter ruler, you know, all of that kind of stuff helps. Tape, keeping tape handy is your friend. Wow, because stuff happens. Now, I use both strings and crumbs. And I picked the odd shaped crumbs out of my crumb bins to do this. So I'm just going to lay this over to the side. Now, here you guys are going to laugh at me because this is all of the strings I have left now. I do not have a whole, I used to have a whole herd of them and now I'm down to this. So I'm like, oh my goodness, what have I done? So yeah, I've used a lot of strings in this project and I'm like, okay, we have used lots and it's all right that we've used lots. I still have low volume strings, which I'm very happy about because this is the only way I'm going to be able to finish this quilt. Okay, so let's put this down. Now what we're going to do is we're going to work from the other side, but because I've marked my lines with my tracing wheel, I can see everything. I'm fine with that. And you want to make sure you're a healthy 1/4 inch over the edge. Okay. And just basically now we're going to bring our string blocks together, and there we go. Let's put another one out. Oops, flip it over. Let's go. And you just play with the tiniest fun strings you can find. You know, like I burnt through I don't know how many of these, and I was like, okay, this works. This is a good thing. I have done all sorts of crazy things. Now what I did, when I'm doing for this, you know, I'm just flipping it over with my fingernail. Now, stuff like this is a crumb, but you might want to hold on to this kind of thing for the ends. Now I'm going to put a woven down next. I don't want these looking the same, so, you know, I want to use up as much of this as I can. But yeah, I was really surprised how many strings I went through. I was like, oh my goodness. And yeah, now I'm sitting there going, if I run out of strings, what do I do? Oh no. I'm kind of like, no, it's fine. If you run out of strings, it's fine. It's a good thing. It's a happy place because you always hope that you run out of scrap fabric. So this is a happy thing. But when you're in the middle of a project, you're only in step 4 of step 8. You're like, oh dear God. So yes, I did switch to larger pieces of fabric. I had to. I just couldn't move along without larger pieces. Now, as you're building this, there's going to be a lot of waste. Now, strings and crumbs usually are on their last leg in my sewing room. So if I have a piece that's a little bit longer like this, I just use the entire piece. I don't worry about it. I sit there. Oh, another one will come along in a minute. Another one will come. It's fine. And I try and get as many of these done as I can. Now, the other secret to strings is not to use the same size over and over and over again. Because that doesn't look like a string. It doesn't look like a string quilt. You want some variety in the width of the string. So this is a good way of getting variety as well. And don't be afraid to add pink and, you know, all these crazy fun colors and just get some happy stuff going. Like I say, this is this is the block, the end of my blocks that I'm going to be able to do. So yeah, there we go. Yeah, so we've had fun with this one. I have fun drawing it out. I am sorry that so many of you are having issues with size. Oh, that's another black. I don't want another black in there. Let's try this. Let's try this instead. Let's put a crazy red up against a pink. Yes, that'll work. Oops. Here. And I will just pop that off just like so. There we go. Yeah, it has been an interesting life here in this house over the last couple of months. It has been very busy, very challenging with all sorts of changes in our lives, and you know, it is what it is kind of thing. No, I don't want to put that in. No, let's go. Let's go to, ooh, let's put yellow in. Let's put a yellow in. Oh, a teal. Teal would be nice. Let's put a teal in. And I want a skinny little teal. There we go. Yeah, skinny little ones like this is just less than an inch wide, but wider than 3/4. So those are always nice to see. Those skinny little pops of color are always really nice to see in these. And I suppose you can concentrate on going one way or the other, but we have fun with this. Okay, and put this. Now when you're pressing this, you want to press this absolutely flat, the string underneath. This is why it's handy to have an iron handy, you know, like the iron in between as you sew. I try my best to manage with my fingernails, but, you know, it is what it is, kind of thing. Okay, let's see if a black, is there a black? Ooh, let's put a black in. Oh, they're right here. Let's put that black in. There we go. Nice kind of a Greek key thing going on in that fabric. There. And let's get past the greens because we don't want more green. Ooh, let's take a yellow. Okay. So the yellow has buses and cars. So it's perfect. Perfect. And now we're moving up. Now, as we move up along this, you see the band narrows, right? And your trimming should narrow, your pieces should narrow as well. That is always a good sign to narrow your work. Start narrowing your work. Oh, we can put this in. Let's put this in. There. And that goes into the little pieces. That could go in as a crumb. There we go. Now, see right here, this is starting to narrow. So what we're going to do is just going to, we only need a piece now that's this big, right? Because we're going to trim this. So instead of running through and looking for a piece to trim, we're just going to keep adding bigger stuff in. We've got to find a different color. And this is where you can also put, you can put in like crazy stuff like this. That works. So I'm just going to cut here and put this in right here. I'm going to get rid of that little tip because I don't need that little tip in the works. So now you're going to push your piece through and there we go. Just like that. Just like that. You're going to come to this. And then we'll push this out of the way. And the black out of the way. There we go. Isn't that cool? That's a nice Greek key kind of thing going on. And let's see. Ooh, I could put butterflies in. Let's put some butterflies in. We can put butterflies in because we can. Now, again, it's a shorter piece you need. So, you know, you don't have to go crazy and try and make a great big piece. And you could use your crumbs. You could pull out your crumbs at this point. You could probably start doing your crumbs. Because you just want little pieces now coming up to the end. And do we have... Oh, yeah, yes we do. We have a red that will fit right here. And it's not too red, so let's go like this. For some reason, this step took me, it felt like forever. It felt like forever because I just didn't get the time to sit for long. You know, sit in front of my sewing machine for long. So all of a sudden stuff feels like it's much harder than it is. And you put in, you know, bright stuff and dull stuff. And okay, now here we're going to hit the tip. So let's get something really vibrant. Let's get something, oh yes. Let's get something like this. Like this. We want something very dark. And here. Now we're just going to cut off a piece here, just like so. And we're going to pull it back a little bit because we want that piece to be just a hair bigger. And there we go. Okay. And let's see. Let's get another. Ooh, we have a red. Oh, we have pink. Oh, we have this. This is nice. Let's put that in. So we're just going to put the block like that because we can. There. There we go. Now see, when I pulled it back, what happens now, when you trim it, more of this blue will show. And I don't have to trim away the other side. I really don't. I can just let it hang out and do and be happy, and that's it. I don't have to do much. So it's kind of a nice little treat you can give yourself. Okay, let's put another pink in because we can. Now, there we go. And that's going to go right to the end. There. Just move that out of the way. Okay. Now with this piece here, this long piece, all I have to do is flip it up and give it a very healthy 1/4 inch on this side. See, there's a line that I drew with a tracing wheel, and I just want to put it up like, just like this. So that becomes a good place for that piece. Let's see. Let's get let's get a blue. Let's go. Oh, we could do gray. We could do, yeah, let's do a gray. A dark gray. Because now again, we're starting to go smaller. Yeah, as we were doing these blocks, I was sitting there, I'm going to run out of fabric. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to run out of strings. Oh no. You know, you kind of start panicking when you're not quite halfway and you're like, I'm running out of strings. Okay. So that's okay, I guess. Oh, I'm going to put this in because this is fun. I had ticket fabric. This is just the cutest little ticket fabric ever. And I thought this would be such fun in a quilt. So I cut out all the ticket. It was a striped piece of fabric, and every stripe had a different color of ticket. And I thought, oh, this would be pretty. There we go. Move that just like that. Now, as you're holding this at the end, you're going up and down the same spot, like 1/4 inch away from that line, right? That's making a tiny little knot that you can now work with. Let's see. Oh, let's get this one out. This one's fun. Let's do this. Okay. There. And there we go. And I'm just going to, basically you're rough cutting the edge of this. You don't want it too crazy. You don't want it too matchy-matchy either, right? Okay, now let's go back to, oh, what about this? That would be cool. That's kind of interesting little yellow. Here. You might have to do this in 2 sections, but yeah, a couple of different sections, but that'll work. It's okay. Here, now, last bit. Here we go, and pull away all the strings. Whenever I do string projects like this, from one end of the house to the other, it is covered, and I mean covered in strings. Covered in strings. Everything is covered with strings. That's like, good grief, you know. Like, what have I done? But anyways, okay, let's get a piece that's bigger. Ooh, we could use a plaid. We could use a plaid right there. I'm just gonna take the plaid and just cut it like that, because that will be big enough, and this plaid has been kicking around in my stash for forever. So big chunks of it can go. Okay, here we go. Big chunks of plaid. There. Hold it and then sew, then hold it again, and you're creating a little knot, just so, yeah, just so that you can have a cute little thing. Let's go with, we could do a green. Oh, yeah, let's do a green. Let's do a green. We haven't done a green. This green, I have so much of this green, I don't even know what to do with it. There's a green stripe. That's basically fence posts. And it's just hordes of it in my stash. And I'm like, okay, I don't know who gave it to me or where it came from, but I'm not happy. Let's put it that way. It's like, there's so much of it. Okay, there we go. Now that is the end of that one. There, so there's that one. And I think I'm short here. Yes, I am. I'm just going to pull this out and get a red. Oh, I could get a blue. Oh yeah, let's just make this blue right here. There. Just like that. Blue. A dark blue. One of those cheater cloths that looks like a crazy quilt. Perfect to put here. There we go. Alright, now we're done with both of them. Now what we're going to do, I'm going to move all of this because, wow, there's a lot. There's a lot of stuff here all of a sudden. It's like, okay, let's get all of this pitched up, taken up, and I'm just going to put an elastic around it here just to hold it all together so I can remove it somewhat safely. But that's all the strings I've got left. That's it. Right there. You saw it. Okay, I'm going to push this one up just like so. There. Now there's a bunch of stuff on the back, and just trim all of that off. And it's not so much pulling and, you know, wear and tear and trying to pick stuff up and all the rest of the stuff. I have so many strings in this house now from doing 3 string quilts, and it seems like it's never ending. But that's okay. That's okay. And there. And it just needs a little haircut. Okay, so now what you're going to do in the back is you're going to flip one side over, just like that, and you're going to start to peel back, and you're going to peel back from this edge. Sometimes it's easier to get from that edge, just down, all the way down to where it meets. Now, there, just like that. And you're going to cut across a 1/4 inch using a 1/4 inch ruler or the 1/4 inch mark on your ruler. That also works. And you're just going to pull away all the stuff you don't need. Now I'm going to suggest you only do one side at a time, just because we know how fabric works. Sometimes it just, you struggle and struggle and struggle, and then, you know, so I would do the opposite side on the other end, right? Okay, here we go. I'm gonna get that one. Oh, nice. There. So, of course, we're gonna do the same thing here. Now, I'm not gonna trim this one. I'll show you what I mean by pulling strings forever. You're pulling out all of the strings that are on the back to the front just to trim them. I mean, if you don't mind doing it that way, you can. You can just leave them. If you don't mind doing it, you can just leave them. It's fine. But I just find it more effort, especially when you're doing lots of them at a time, you know, because I needed 40 of these for a queen, right? So that's a lot. And then you just do the other side. And there. Okay. There we go. There. There. Now, there we go. So we've got things to sew now. Let's go digging through because, okay, the stuff that's going to go in the triangle is this kind of thing. Oh, look at that. I found another string. I found another string. Yay! So we had all sorts of fun with this. And here we go. Hang on. I found another yellow string. And it's yellow. It's orange too to boot. Okay. So what we're going to do, like these, now if you want to cut them, like there's a cheat you can do where you cut a what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5¼ inch by just a minute here. 5¼ by 3.5, and then you slide in 3/8 of an inch, right? Or, you know, like a good 1/2 inch, right? And then you cut at an angle on both sides, right? That's one sheet you can do if you like. The other sheet is you can just use whatever for your fabric, right? So anyway, we'll take this stuff here next. Hang on. Put that to the side for now. Let's go. Let's put this down just like so. So we're going to go a good 3/8 of an inch over the top here, the X on top, right? Okay, and you're gonna flip it over, and you're gonna run it under the sewing machine, and then you go all the way down. That's your cheat. There. Now, I guess you could go all the way. Yeah, you could. Yeah, I'll just go. There we go. Now, get that out of the way. Then we take the next one. Boom. There. And you take like a good 1/4 and a bit over the edge. There. There. And you go all the way down. Now, if I do make a mistake on these, I will show you how to correct them. But you pick from the fabric side. You always try and pick your threads from the fabric side. Now, okay, so these aren't going to work because they're the wrong size. This is too short, that's all. Oh, wait a minute here. This will work. This will work. It's oversized, but it'll work. Where's the other oversized piece? It must be this one. Okay, so I do have a couple oversized pieces here, but here we go. All right, maybe I don't have enough and I'll have to go make one. Oh, here it is. It's on this side. 1, 2, 3. Oh, here we go. Here. Never mind, we found it. We found them. Okay, get the stringy side away there. So now we're gonna do the other side. There, and then we'll trim some more. Okay, get that up. You want to make sure everything's lined up. Okay, you don't want to short your seam. Because you're building a utility quilt, that's why you don't want to short your seam. There we go. Okay, there we go. And now you just press it out just like so. And I'm going to use this. A bunch of this was given to me. It's good cotton, but it is such a poor, they were not cut correctly, so they don't go into anything. They don't make anything. They don't make Dresdens and, you know, all this other stuff. So, okay, there we go. But it works for this because it's an odd shape. And it'll be fine. It'll be fine in this quilt. There we go. Now, okay. So now we go back to trimming. And like I say, use your craziness. Your crazy colors, your crazy, just use it. Move it out. Get it out of your stash. Don't think about it, you know. It's there for a reason. It's there for you to use. You can play and do whatever you want, you know. But yeah, pull out your crazy stuff. Where's my 1/4 inch ruler? Okay, and my rotary cutter. There we go. And oof. Okay, so we want this piece here. It's kind of bright, but that's okay. A lovely little strawberry posy. Yeah. Make sure it's not twisted or popped open. No, it didn't fold. There. Ugh. There we go. Nice. Now this is a huge piece that's left over, right? But, I mean, do what you have to do to move it out. There you go. There. Get a little aggressive when you're pulling this out. Okay. We lost camera for a while, but that's okay. I've made a mistake, so I'm going to unpick from the fabric side. And this is always good. So you get a good sharp ruler or picker, stitch ripper router. And because of how I've done this, I've just folded it. Like, of course, it's perfectly placed on either side of that, but somehow it folded. But that's okay. So we can just get this all flattened out, just so, just nice. And all I have to do is flatten it because the top and bottom are in the right spot, right? So there we go. We'll just do this very quick. And you always pick from the fabric side. The fabric side has more layers. If you pick from the paper side, what will happen is you will, hang on. If you pick from the paper side, you're just going to rip your paper. Okay, there we go. There. Now, I did it with that one too. I did too. Okay, that's all right. These, okay, just again. So here's my mistake. Here is my mistake, right there. You see where my finger is? Okay. So I just pick from the fabric side, and I'm just going to pick out my stitches because what's happened is it flipped over when I was sewing. So I'm just going to pick those out so I can move it the other way. And again on this side, and we're just going to pick it out just enough, okay, to get this laying flat. And sometimes, you know, a little spit glue will flatten it. I know that's kind of gross, right? But, you know, sometimes you want to just quickly press that flat. And now you want it to lay flat. Okay. And a little back and forth, that'll be good. There, now. Okay, so it worked. Yay! Okay, so let's get the bright colors out for this portion here. This part here. Now, some of you might go, oh, what are you doing? And others will go, oh, okay, that works perfectly. So basically what I did, I pulled out my crumbs. I pulled from my crumbs. I figured I don't need this complicated. I don't need this weird. I just need it done. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to lay this across like so. I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to make sure I have a healthy 1/4 inch because this piece is cut really big. And I'm going to line it up and sew it in place. I did not trim this because I don't need to. Right? All I need is this to be flat. That's it. That's all I need to be is flat. Then I take this other pinky yellowy one. Okay. There. Alright. Oops. Okay, so again, we're just going to make sure it's well over. There. Okay, and in line, there we go. Nice sharp point. You want to create a nice sharp point with your fabric, and of course this won't cut because there's too much stuff in the way. So here we go with this. So all of a sudden this flips up. You get a nice sharp point right here, right? And you haven't done all that trimming and excess stuff, right? I'm going to put the purple here. So you want to line this up. Oh, you want to line it up just a little higher. There we go. Just a bit higher. Here. Okay. There. There we go. And now I'm just going to press this up this way. There we go. And again, I want to take your big teal piece, line it up kind of a little bit over, and there we go. Okay, we're almost there. We're almost there. We're trimming little bits off of our triangle now. Okay, so it doesn't matter which one you take first, but just take the same side. Okay, and now, yes, I said they're on their last legs, but this goes back into the crumb bin, right? I mean, I wouldn't, the other little white piece there, I would put into, you know, into the pet bed pile, but that because it's a nice size crumb and a nice size half square triangle, it'll work. Okay, so let's get, okay, so now we just lay these out just like so, and we sew this way. Okay, there we go. There. Yeah. Okay, now that's a nice size teal, so I'll keep that, and we will just push this way. Now I have a choice. Now this is something a lot of people don't understand. This is the wrong side and this is the right side. The wrong side reads a little bit paler, and that's the side I would like up. So I'm going to sew this with the wrong side up so that I end up with the side that I want to be paler on showing, right? You buy both sides of the fabric, and if you're not happy you shouldn't have to use that fabric. You shouldn't have to use it that way. You can use it just by flipping it over, right? So there's one. Okay, and oh yeah, here's the other one. Oh wait, we'll do this. Yeah, that'll be fine. Okay, just like so. There we go. Oh, I didn't do this side. Oops. Okay. Oh, that's alright. That's on me. Sometimes you get in such a hurry to move through. Now I'm going to put this in with my pinks because that's a nice size color. It's a good color. It's, you know, lovely, lovely definition. And I'm going to put this down. This is such a pale, neutral, low volume. It doesn't have any color almost, you know. There we go. There. There we go. Now. Now I'm not going to keep this purple. I'm going to put that one in the dog beds. That goes into the dog beds. Yeah. I should probably, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to use this. I am going to use this one up. I'm going to use it and I'm going to cut it just like so, because this little piece is okay for a crumb, for a low volume crumb, but we're just going to put some more color. There we go. Just like that. And there. There we go. Oops. That can go in the pet bed. There we go. And we're just about at the end. Yay! Okay, here we go. And oops, I forgot this piece here. Darn, hang on. This piece right here, a friend donated to me, and by the time she was done, all she had was like crumbs left, and I was like, okay, they were cute, just a really cute little scrappy happiness, you know. And I think I'm finally have used, you know, I use a piece or two in every quilt, and that seems to help getting rid of that. Now that seems really crazy, but it works. It works as a low volume. Okay. There we go. There we go. And there. I will save that as a low volume. I will save that as a crazy pink, peachy pink, and there. There we go. And just a minute, I'm gonna cut this off while I can. There. There we go. Okay, now with this, we are going to have to trim now. But there's a couple of things you can do before you trim. One thing I always insist is that you stay stitch. Stay stitch is possibly the most important thing you can do on any piece that you do right now. Because this is all, by the time I get all of this pulled apart, it's all bias. By the time I actually do the trimming, all of this is bias. And you don't want any distortion, you don't want stretch. And I took my time to measure my pieces to make sure the outside lines read 18.5 inches, right? Because that's important too. You have to have the right size sashing, right? Especially when you're piecing it. I promise you the next one after Happy Scrappy Overflow is patchwork. There is no, there's not going to be any, there's not going to be any of this, you know, foundation paper piece, scrappy string piecing. I mean, if you want to do them string pieced, you can. But, I mean, this one will be much easier because it'll be just patchwork. Okay. So, here we go. Ugh. All right. Oops. Oh, now this has to go like this. There we go. There. Whew. Okay, that's done. All right. You pivot with the needle down when you're doing this too, and that helps. You'll keep your stitches all in one place. And I ran out of bobbin way back here. Well, that's just okay. Well, that was bound to happen eventually. That was bound to happen. That's okay. There we go. And we did lots with that bobbin, so it was bound to run out. There. Now some of you are probably going, hey, did you just put a blue bobbin in your thing? Yes, I did. Because the value of that blue, just a sec, where did I end up? I ended up off here. The value of that blue is not darker than the value of most of the quilt pieces. So I'm okay using a pale blue. I'm trying to use up a stash donation of thread, and of course, you know, beggars can't be choosers, I guess, and you can be grateful for what you get, you know. So I'm just kind of, you know, it was such a generous gift. I thought, okay, yes, I'll take that, because they do lots of this. But yeah, sometimes it's, you know, not all the gifts you get are, you know, things that you can use front and center. So, like I say, I'm using up a thread donation. And I think I've got less than 10 spools left now, so that's kind of nice. And I will use every bit of it. I do not throw any of it out. Okay, so there we go. Here's our 2 blocks. What I'm going to do is I need a longer ruler to trim these with. But basically, you trim on that outside line, you know, like you put your 1/4 inch line here when you do your big ruler. You've got your 1/4 inch here on that line, and then you trim that off, right? Now, That may sound kind of, oh, okay, but this is an 18.5-inch block, and I don't think I can trim it accurately without an 18-inch ruler. So I'm not going to trim it. I'm going to come back and we'll do our ta-da moment. Okay, so this is our big ta-da moment. So we've got these. We need 40 for a queen size. Yes, I'm making a queen size because the bigger the quilt I make, the more scraps I use. So keep that in mind. Now, I did have a question about how I fix a string quilt. What happened was the person put a string that was too pale, and we're going to say this one's too pale to show up well, but I mean, you guys can see that it's a string. So you take a darker color or a more medium color, you sew down just past, like you sew down just past where this is, right? You sew down, and you just sew down just past where this line would come, right? So what you're doing is you're going to cover it. So what you do is you fake it, you fake the seam and you put it in just like so, and then you flip it over, and then you top stitch the top, right? You top stitch the top just until the points, until you meet the white points, right? That's what you're doing. And then you stuff the side edges in, and then you top stitch that in so that it creates this perfect line. You don't have to unpick all of this because that was a mistake and it was too light. Keep that in mind. There's ways around this. Now, if you did one here and you wanted to change the pink to a dark gold, you would do the same thing. You would fake your stitching line here, and then just flip it over and then fold it to top stitch over it, and you would cover your pink, right? So now you're not having to unpick a whole bunch of stuff, right? You're not sitting there like, wow, it's going to take me a day and a half just to unpick it all. So it is possible to correct some things when you're doing strings and you have results. You end up with results you don't like. Keep that in mind. Okay, so I have 2 more of these now to peel the paper off. Yes, they come back. Yeah, so some of these are just very fun, colorful. I put all sorts of different low volumes in now, but I have enough strings to do the low volume, the low volume step 6. I believe it's step 6. I don't have enough strings to do any more colors, so we have to improvise, and we have to step up our game here a little bit. And I'm not cutting scraps into strings just so I can sew them together again, because that's not going to work for me. So anyways, I do hope you guys have fun with this sew along, and I hope you're just enjoying yourself so much with this. Okay, you guys take care and stay well until we see each other again. All right, bye! My husband and I would like to thank you for all of your support and watching our videos and sharing and liking. It has just been, you've put us on such an amazing journey, and we are having so much fun. I hope everything is going so well in your life, and you know, your 1/4 inch is perfect. Everything is working out for you. And we're just so happy to be part of your life, and you having, like I say, you're watching us. I was just so thrilled that you're doing that. So I want to say goodbye, and I want to thank you with all my heart. Okay? Take care. Bye.